Dumbbells versus bands. Which one is better for your home gym? That is a really big question. And for most people, it's gonna come down to three main factors. The first is how much space do you have for your home gym setup? The second is how much money do you want to spend or how much are you willing to spend? And the third is the versatility that each piece of equipment brings, or how much are you going to be able to do with each piece of equipment. Let's start with dumbbells. These are the classic pieces of home gym fitness machinery. And this is the ultimate in the old school. At the Clench Fitness home gym, we're just running the old style hex iron dumbbells. We run them from 3 pounds all the way up to 110 pounds. It took us a couple of years to acquire all this, but it takes up a lot of space. Like we're talking like a 10-foot section of your wall here to hold all this stuff. And it's also fairly expensive, even on the used marketplace. Like a good used marketplace price is probably like $1 a pound, if that's even possible anymore. And for a set like this, you're talking $1,500 to $2,000 for the whole ball of wax just in the used market. In the new market, it's probably, 2 times that amount. Another thing in the dumbbell world that's new in the recent years, in the past handful of years, are the adjustable dumbbells. It started with like the power blocks and the Bowflex dumbbells, and now there's just tons of people that are throwing all sorts of adjustable dumbbells out there, and those are a very good option, especially for home gym people, because it's going to take up a fraction of the space. We're talking like this small section here, because you only have 2 dumbbells that are adjustable, so it's going to take up a lot less space, and you're also going to get more value for dollar because you're sharing components between them. For adjustable dumbbells, obviously you can get sets from like 0 to 50 pounds, or they go to 0 to 75 pounds, or 0 to 100 plus pounds. They're all gonna be different prices. The 50-pound ones, maybe like a couple, $300-400 for a really good set. And then for the bigger sets, you're looking at like 700 to 1,000 plus for a really good set of adjustable dumbbells. And for the last piece of the puzzle, versatility. Dumbbells are no doubt extremely versatile. You can grab one of these things and you can do just about any exercise, but there are some limitations. For instance, dumbbells are driven by gravity, so you have to be able to set up your exercise in the plane of gravity so that you can get the right resistance on a certain muscle group. And with dumbbells, that may require you to have like a bench or an incline bench or something so that you can set up more exercises and do them effectively. The other piece of the puzzle is the amount of weight that you have available, or what you're willing to commit to, and that can be limiting, kind of, especially on the heavier, larger muscle groups. For instance, if I want to effectively train my legs, we're going to need hundreds of pounds of resistance, and you may not be willing to invest that into a heavy set of dumbbells. Or the other flip side of it is, say, like setting exercises up safely. Say I need to do a 200-pound squat. I'm not gonna grab a 100-pound dumbbell in each arm and flip it up and do some squats. Like, you're just not going to do that. So you're gonna be a little bit limited on some of the heavier compound exercises that you do. Now let's talk about resistance bands. As you can see, I got about 40 bands sitting here, which is more bands than any one person will ever need. But they only take up a couple feet of space on my wall. So they're very, very space efficient. And also there is a lot of resistance here. We got bands from 5 pounds all the way up to, 400 pounds of resistance per band. So in terms of just like raw resistance per volume of space, bands are going to give you the best. All right, number 2 is cost. Generally speaking, resistance bands are going to be a lot less expensive than free weights, mostly because you can get a lot of different resistance levels out of a handful of bands. And what do I mean by that? Take, for instance, this is our Clench Fitness 5-band set. You get 5 41-inch long loop style resistance bands, and each one has a different resistance level. And with bands, you don't just get like 1 poundage, because the further that you stretch the band, the more resistance it puts out. So it's gonna create a range of resistances, and also the way you set it up is going to change that range of resistances as well. So if I stretch this band just like I'm stretching it now, the full length method, it goes from about 0 to 5 pounds at 2 times its length. When I fold it in half, I'm going to get from 0 at no tension to about 15 pounds when I stretch it to 2 times its length. So that's what we publish on our website. The orange band is 5 to 15 pounds. And then every one of these other bands has a range as well. Red is it's whatever its resistance range, black, purple, and green. So let's just create a basic cost analysis of this 5-band set based on resistance. And we're gonna use the low level of the resistance and the high level of resistance. So for this one, we got the 5 pounds plus the 15 pounds at the top end. And then if we sum all of the rest of these together, for our 5-band set, it's about 550 pounds of resistance, assuming the low and the high. And that's not quite exact, because you could also stack bands together to get in between levels of resistance. So there's even more resistance levels that you can get out of just this 5-band set. But let's just use the 550 pound number to be an estimate, right? And if the cost of this band set delivered to your door is $85.50. So that comes out to about 15 cents per pound. Plus, you still have the ability to stack all these bands together and do in-between resistances. So that is way cheaper than the cheapest of the free weights, which is like $1 a pound is like the golden number to find out in the world. So generally speaking, bands are a lot less cost than free weights, and they take up a lot less space. One more thing to consider on the cost side of things is the lifespan of the product. With dumbbells and free weights, they're pretty much going to last forever as long as you take care of them. With bands, they're limited in their life. Obviously, they're a rubber band. They're going to wear out over time, and you're going to have to replace them. But if you stick with a high quality resistance band, like these layered bands from Clench Fitness, you should be able to get multiple years of life out of your resistance bands. Last thing, versatility. Bands are extremely versatile. They're probably more versatile than any other piece of fitness equipment. You can do assisted exercises, whether you want assistance on your pull-ups, push-ups, dips, other body weight style exercises. You can use them for mobility exercises, stretching exercises, rehab exercises to keep your body functional and moving very well. And also you can use them for strength training exercises. You can mimic pretty much any of the gym style exercises that you would do with free weights or machines. And you can also do other things like explosive or power or athletic style training, because bands have no mass to them, so there's no risk of like joint injury, or the risk of joint injury when you're doing explosive exercises is way, way less because there's no mass that you're explosively accelerating and decelerating. So ultimately, bands are extremely, extremely versatile. Ultimately, it's going to come down to what's best for you and your space and your budget. But if I were to have to suggest something or frame up kind of an approach to help you solve this, my approach would be, how do we maximize all three of those points? Like saying compact, saving as much, or maximize the value for dollar on your budget, and also maximizing the versatility in the training that you're going to get. I would recommend kind of a combination of both. So start out with like a few sets of dumbbells, like a low, medium, and high, or a couple lows and a medium and a high, or a good set of basic adjustable dumbbells. And then with bands, I would recommend the same thing. Like start out with a set of bands. And from Clench Fitness, Off the top of my head, what I would recommend is maybe like our level 2 kit, which will give you a few pairs of bands so that you can do bilateral exercises and a couple of important accessories like handles or an anchor strap to really maximize that versatility. Or if you have a little bit more budget, I would recommend like our advanced performance kit, which will give you basically the same thing, but a few more bands to go heavier and some more accessories like our ankle straps to really give you more versatility. And then combining those two things together, like you're still gonna be on the very low end of the spectrum when it comes to what you could spend on developing a full home gym. That'll get you started, give you the most bang for your buck, and then from there you're gonna be able to kind of expand and figure out, you know, what do you need to add on to this home gym over time. I still have some questions on how exactly bands compare to dumbbells in specific exercises. So stay tuned for next week. We're gonna launch a part 2 of this video where we're gonna go head to head with bands and dumbbells and compare and contrast specific exercises. So check out the on-screen video links for part 2. It might not be there this week, but it will be there next week. And also, thank you so much for watching.